Guys, welcome back to my channel. We are doing a good old-fashioned shop my stash. The Sephora sale is coming up at the end of this month, and I know I'm probably going to be getting a few new things. Again, it changes every day what those few new things are going to be. But in anticipation of adding more things to my collection, I am showing love to things that have been in my collection and may have been a little neglected. And that's what a shop my stash is. So that's what I'm gonna do. I have only done my brows and primed my eyelids. I get asked all the time what I prime my eyelids with, and it is the NARS Soft Matte Concealer. And then I set it with my Jane Pure Pressed. So let's hop right in. I have not put any corrector on because I'm gonna use one that I haven't used in a hot minute, but remember, absolutely loving. And it is the Bobbi Brown Corrector Stick. And this is in the shade Bisque. When this first came out, I used it all the time. And I was actually really surprised that the stick formula, which tend to sometimes be a little bit drier, was not drying under my eyes and worked well at covering up the darkness, but also wore well throughout the day. So I don't even remember how I applied this, but I'm just gonna take a little bit where my darkness is the worst and then kind of tap it in with my finger. Did help take the darkness down. I'm so used to my Clinique Airbrush concealer that I feel like maybe that one brightens a little bit more under the eye, but I'm also using a pretty full coverage concealer today, so this should be perfectly fine. This is kind of cheating because I did show some love to this last week and forgot that I actually enjoyed it, but that was the first time I picked it up in months, so I thought I would use it again today. This is the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. So this is kind of the newest foundation that they have launched in their collection, even though it's not like brand new. It's been probably over a year since it was launched, but I'm in the shade Santa Fe. It's very, very liquidy, so it does need to be shaken well. I take probably about 3 pumps because they're little tiny little baby pumps. Very light formula, and then just kind of stipple it in. This is the It Cosmetics Kabuki brush, I think. Complexion Perfection Kabuki, or Buki. I have other videos where I do like a more full review of this, so I will put it up. It is not my favorite NARS foundation, but I don't dislike it. And I feel like it does work better for me when it's a little bit colder outside versus like in the dead of summer when it's super humid and hot. And I know somebody's probably thinking, if they haven't watched those other videos, well, if this isn't your favorite NARS foundation, what is? And it would have to be a tie between the Soft Matte foundation and the Sheer Glow, depending on what kind of coverage and finish I'm wanting for the day. But those are definitely my top two. I don't consider the NARS Tinted Moisturizer in the foundation category, but I do really like that one as well. For concealer, I pulled out two, not knowing which one I would want to use. The Kulfi Main Match Concealer and the Natasha Denona High Glam. I really use these for probably about 1 to 2 weeks when I first got them. And then I just went back to my go-tos. You know, I have like 2 or 3 favorite concealers of all time, and I typically rotate between those. So these definitely need some loving. I just don't know which one. I think I'll use the Natasha Denona. It's in the shade RN3. And from what I remember, this is pretty high coverage. So I'm gonna start out with a very small amount with my BK Beauty 109 brush and just kind of tap that in. It is a pretty hydrating formula and it does have really good coverage. So just that small amount was all that I needed. Probably could have gotten away with even less. And I feel like it is definitely sufficient coverage on top of that Bobbi Brown corrector. I feel like it is just the season of concealers. Every time I turn around, someone else has brought out a new concealer. And I don't even know that I have one. Wait, I do think I have one in my Sephora cart right now. But with the amount that have been launched, I could have like 8 in there and still be trying 8 new concealers. So if y'all have tried any new launch concealers that you absolutely love, definitely share that with us down in the comment section. Because again, I'm putting things in and out of my cart every day. I do feel like I probably put too much of that Natasha Denona concealer on because I just went in to kind of make sure there was no creasing and definitely took quite a bit off the eye that had already started settling. So if you saw how much I used, I probably could have gotten away with half of that. And I'm just using my Ilia powder to set, which that is definitely in my cart and staying because I am almost out of this one and definitely need a backup. It's my favorite powder to set underneath the eyes. As far as the powder we're gonna use to set the face, I brought out two and I don't know which one I wanna use. The Sephora Micro Smooth Multitasking Baked Face Powder, or this brand, Florasis, sent me a package months ago, maybe even last year. And this is their Gorgeous Peach Blossom Silk Powder, which is exactly what it says it is. It's a very silky, fine powder. Like, feels like absolutely nothing at all. And I probably should have used this under the eyes. I think that that's where I'm gonna like this best. So let's just use the Sephora one today. This is in the shade number 30, Sand. And I'm just gonna stipple that on top of that NARS foundation. I love doing these videos because quite often I will find something that I forgot I really loved, and it will become something that is in my rotation for many, many weeks, months, possibly even years to come. Bronzer. Talk about an oldie but a goodie. I have not used this in forever, but so good. It's just one of those ones that will, I feel like, never not be in people's collections because of how good it is. And it's the Physicians Formula Good Old Butter Bronzer. For a very long time, they only had one shade and then they branched out with more shades. This is the Deep Bronzer. I don't know why I got deep, y'all. I think it must have been like in the summer and I felt like I needed something a little bit darker, but we're gonna run with it. I'm gonna use my Wayne Goss number 11, which I have been using a lot for bronzer lately. This is what happens. I will get in a bronzer brush kick. I will use my old pink BH Cosmetics angle brush that I used for months. Then I'll go back to my Refer 22, which is one of my favorites, and I'll use that for months. Then I will go to my Sephora bronzer brush. I will use that, and this little segment of time in my life, I am hooked on the Wayne Goss number 11. So that's what I'm going to use for the butter bronzer. Again, just one that I feel like will always be talked about in some form or fashion because it's an affordable staple to have in your collection because it looks good. It's not super matte. It's got a little bit of like a skin-like sheen to it. It's very, very fragrant. So if you are super sensitive to scents, you may want to steer clear of this, or maybe that's why you don't have it. But it's not something that like I put on my face and I can smell it throughout the day. It's more of just like when I open the compact and use it, I can tell I'm using my butter bronzer. Y'all, talk about a throwback. This product from Becca, and this is the Becca packaging. Now it's available through Smashbox. Was all anybody could ever talk about for the longest time. And it is Champagne Pop, their highlighter. And this one actually broke all over the place, and I did the alcohol trick where I kind of mixed it all together and then pressed it back in the pan. It has definitely seen better days. When Becca went out of business, I bought a backup of this, so I probably just need to let this one rest in peace and get the backup out. But this is a highlighter that I feel like will always look good. I love it for eyeshadow. I love it for highlighter. I feel like my makeup is always complimented when I have this on. Now, I don't know if it's because of the highlighter, if it's because of something else, but that is a constant. So I'm gonna take the new Refer Holiday brush, and which is so incredibly soft, and apply, I mean, it was talked about forever for a reason. It's just pretty. I got two blushes out. One of them was cream and I've already set my face. I do that all the time. I always have this great intention of using a cream blush, and then I set my face with powder and I end up not going back in. Most of the time it would probably still work, but I got my Fit Glow Beauty. This is their most recent cream blush, like quad palette that they brought out. And it could also be used as lipstick if you wanted to. But I think I'm doing more of like a warm eye. And these are mostly, I mean, that one is, you know, warmer, but it's also more like a bronzer. And these are a little more cool. So I think I'm going to use the other option that I pulled out. which is something that I just realized must be being discontinued. Hopefully it is still available when this video goes up, but it is the Sephora Trio Face Palette, and I sung this face palette's praises a lot when I first got it. The blushes, especially, I mean, the highlight is really pretty too, but I love these two blushes. One is more of a matte, and then this one has a little bit more shimmer in it. So what I like to do is mix the two of them. And y'all, when I say they're on sale, they're $7.50 now on the website. So check the link below and grab you one or four because that is a killer deal. And again, these work great as eyeshadows. So I'm just gonna take my blush brush and mix the two blush colors and use those on the cheeks. They're just so pretty. I really, really, really have not shown enough love to this palette lately. Every time I use it, I am reminded how much I love it. I do think I have one other color, but I think I'm gonna snag another one while they're $7.50. And then I will buff, make sure there's no harsh lines. Maybe dial down that highlight just a little bit, if that's even possible with that particular highlight. And we will go on to the eyes. Now, I looked through all of my palettes. I thought, do I want to use single shadows? Do I want to use shadow sticks, quads, palettes? And I landed on this palette thinking, man, it's been a while since I have used this, but man, every time I do, I love how it looks. And it is the original Wayne Goss Luxury Eye Palette. And this is in Imperial Topaz. So this is the first one that was launched out of his eye palettes. I have other ones and I really like them. I think Pearl is one of my favorites. It's more of like bridal shadow colors, more cool tones. This one is just so pretty. Only thing I don't love about this one is that there's not a very obvious crease color because there is only two full matte colors, this brown and black. The black is beautiful. It's a great eyeliner. May or may not use it as that today. The brown is fairly dark for what I like to start out with in my crease. So I do tend to go for whatever bronzer I used on the days that I use this palette and start with that in the crease. So I'm gonna do that with my Refer 27 and the Butter Bronzer and just kind of use that as a starting point to give a little bit of a contour to the eye. And then, you know, I may, or I don't have a clue what I'm doing with this palette today, but I may or may not go back in with that darker brown. The darker brown is very, very pretty if you're wanting to do an all over matte brown look, like a smoky eye, as a one shade eye, and you kind of put it all over your lid and blend it up into the crease. It's really pretty to use as a softer eyeliner if you're using some of the lighter colors. And it's really pretty to deepen the outer V of the eye if you're doing one of the more like traditional crease color, lid color, outer V color. For some reason, this like terracotta shade is just really speaking to me today. So I think I'm going to start with that all over the lid. Now, when I say that those other two, the brown and the black, are the only mattes, these two, well, actually these three, but these two shades in particular are not so shimmery that I wouldn't use them in the crease. In fact, I have used that lighter, like bronzy shade in the crease before. And as you can probably see, like this is not coming off as a shimmery color because it just really isn't. It's more of like a true satin, which makes it very flattering on the eyes. All right, now I'm gonna take this Refer number 3, which by the way, this was the Refer number 1 brush that I just used on my lids. I'm gonna take the Refer number 3 into this super matte black shadow, and I'm going to run that lightly on the lash line and see how I feel about the smoky liner effect. This is how I do all of my looks. I just think, let's just see how it ends up. Do I like it? Okay, well, if I don't, then I usually just wear it anyways and know not to do it again. If I really don't like it, then I'll take it off, but I don't remember the last time I did that. Okay, and then, I don't know, I kind of like the matte, but I'm just gonna take a very, very tiny amount of this shade and lightly, just lightly, like I don't even know if it's gonna come across on camera, tap it in the middle of the lid. And then I'm gonna take a little bit of this shade and just lightly, just lightly, like I don't even know if it's gonna come across on camera, tap it in the middle of the lid. Just like that. Tap it in the middle of the lid Y'all, I get my nails done tomorrow and I can't wait. They have grown out so long. Sometimes I feel like they don't grow out at all. And then sometimes I'm like, what am I eating that's making these grow so fast? Okay, yeah. I'm gonna stick to that. So that even covered a little bit of that black and made it appear even smokier, which I'm totally fine with. And then for the bottom, I'm gonna mix this kind of terracotta shade and some of that bronzer on a Rephr 14 and smoke out my lower lashes. Y'all, I don't know if I love this Natasha Denona. I felt like I really liked it, like when I think I used it the first time in a Playing With New Makeup, and I think I even wrote in the comments that I liked it a little. Like I didn't dislike it enough to feel like I wanted to return it, but I think I've just gotten so used to and so happy with the few concealers that I know I love that it's hard for anything else to kind of stack up. I don't know, but I do know that I don't have a Shop My Stash mascara because I only have a couple of those open at a time anyways. So I'll do that off camera. I'll use my Beauty Pie Uber Volume Boost, and then we'll come back and do some lips, and I'm even going to do fragrance today because half the time I forget about that. So I'll be right back. Something about mascara just makes me feel done and put together. I pulled out a couple of lipstick gloss options, and I really think I'm just gonna use this. This is the Lawless. I'm at that point, y'all, where I'm like, what is this? What is this? My glasses are in the other room. I think they need to be upped anyways. I don't know what this is called. It's the Balm. Forget the Filler Balm, I think. And this is in the shade Georgie. So it's a little bit of a warmer shade, which I feel like matches the eyeshadow look. These are great, y'all. I really, really like them. And I don't need a gloss on top of them. Yay for that. I have brought out the Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb in Fenty Glow, but I don't need it. I don't need it. This is a balm. It feels hydrating, has that little bit of a sheen. I am liking it. And to finish off the look, we are gonna use one of my favorite fall perfumes. If you didn't see the live I did with Abby, was that last month? Where we shared our favorite fall perfumes. And this is Amouage Overture. And this is an apple brandy, spicy, fall, yummy scent, y'all. It's good. Amouage can be hit or miss for me and a lot of people. But this is definitely one of my favorites within the line. I also really like Guidance, which I have a full bottle of. I like Material. I like Dia Woman. But this one is the most fall, in my opinion. It's definitely got that strong apple brandy scent to it. And I love it. So that's it. That is the final look put together of Shopping My Stash. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Maybe gave you a little bit of encouragement to go to your collection and shop things that you have not touched and used in quite a while, so you can remember how much you love them and why you bought them in the first place. So I will have everything listed and linked down below in the description box. Thank y'all so much for watching. Be sure and like and subscribe before you leave so you don't miss out on any future videos. And I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day.